You're in a queue, for example, and you go to some places or some countries and the queue is the queue. You have to join from the back, right? And that's conducive because, hey, I was here before you, makes sense. But then you find some people that they just don't have the time and everybody is in a hurry and they jump to the front stylishly and feel they will get away with it. Sometimes some people just don't want trouble and they just leave you with your, your actions. But then you will find in some places where people don't like it, they don't condone it, and they will call you out. Excuse me, the queue is at the back. We need to see more of that nowadays.
You've probably experienced a scenario like this. You're waiting in line for a service or to buy something, and someone who sees the long queue comes along and goes straight to the front of the line, completely disregarding everyone standing. In most cases, some people on the queue will speak up, but some will look on with utter disbelief. With teeming population, it is almost inevitable not to experience queuing. If you're not queuing at the bus station, you're queuing at the ATM or in the bank, or to get tickets to your favorite show. Queuing is a way to create orderliness and to ensure that there is some fairness. But like clockwork, there will always be the impatient ones, or the ones who feel too smart that they find a way to jump the queue. Queues are not created to simply waste time but to ensure orderliness, because the chaos that happens without the orderliness leaves a lot of people bitter, angry and helpless. The reason why queuing is challenging for us can be associated with the way we see it. Darden Professor Elliot N. Weiss and colleagues Graham Gillam, Kylie Simmons and Donald Stevenson explained that across the globe, people wait for food and transportation, to make purchases, to get services, or to have experiences. But how they view the wait, what the rules are, and what they expect vary widely. Some cultures see needing to wait as almost always negative, while in other societies, seeing there is a line can signal there's something worth waiting for.
In an environment where they don't call it out and they allow people to jump the queue, and jumping the queue becomes normal and the norm, they won't say anything wrong with it. They will continue to do it because they can't see the bad in it. You get to an environment where, hey, it's not possible for you to ever think of jumping the queue because people say, get back. Excuse me, we've been here before you, join the queue. There and then you notice that you've done something wrong. It conditions your mindset, I can't jump the queue in this environment, it's not acceptable. And so you begin to readjust yourself. It's a culture change.
Instead of seeing queues as a waste of time, see it as a way to better manage time. It is also a way to ensure fairness and equity. The next time you feel the urge to jump a queue, don't. Instead, remember some of these guidelines. Make up your mind if you will join the queue or not. Once you have joined the queue, stay in your line. You may decide to ask what the waiting time is before you join the queue. Some organizations will provide this service. Try to stay in lane, only reserve by using someone you know. Never say you were behind someone in a queue. Wait for someone to be behind you before you leave the queue if you must. Respect other people's space while on the queue. Watch your conversation on the phone, keep it confidential. Watch your personal belongings. Try not to leave shopping bags on the floor. Acknowledge the number of bags you're carrying. If you forgot something, unless it is close by, you will run the risk of losing your place once you leave the queue. Exercise huge amounts of patience, even when the queue appears endless. If you're holding a place for someone, explain to others around you to avoid conflict. Sometimes, the queue may be a telephone inquiry. You may have the option of calling back or leaving a message to be called back. If someone appears like they're jumping the queue, politely correct them without getting into a squabble. Always wait your turn if the queue is automated. Sometimes you may need to wait to be beckoned, served, or for the green light before proceeding. Follow the rules and move orderly. The pandemic opened the world to a new dispensation regarding work. How people work and the career paths they take differ from generation to generation. There are 5 generations present in the modern workplace, each with unique expectations and perspectives. A person's career path is described as the work they do and the roles they hold as they climb up the ladder. Before the millennium, career paths for many was simply linear, which could be a person working at the same organization and growing there till they retired, or a person working in the same role but changing jobs a couple of times. Security and staying power were the cornerstone of this career path. However, with modern technology, a person's career path can be as multifaceted and versatile as the individual wishes. Millennials now work multiple roles in their career trajectories, pursue numerous passions that are sometimes interwoven, and work at different roles in their journeys. Baby boomers and Generation X only considered a job good if it gave them the security.
The federal government has funded 422 delegates to COP28 summit, says the minister.
And there's also of the press that we will be doing this morning. And by the way, good morning and welcome to the Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. My name is Nyamgul Agaji.
My name is Rume Paulson.
It's going to be a wonderful day. Yesterday I was so sure it was also already the 12th of the month. I don't know. Days are moving fast and fast and fast. But today, fortunately, I remember the date quite clearly. It is the 5th of December, 2023. That means we have 20 more days and then it's Christmas. But the entire season is the season for Christ.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know how you are preparing, but I'm preparing to go to church.
Isn't everyone?
Well, you know, there are some people beyond the church. That preparation for Christmas, church is just one of those things. But the major thing that they're going to spend their time, spend their money, is not even church. But this year, we'll go plenty for church.
Of course. Well, I'm sure there are other ways to celebrate. So even if you're not spending so much money, as long as you're sharing love with your family and your friends, that works. That's a good way to spend Christmas.
Yeah, sharing love. That's what we've always been saying. And we've always told you that sharing love doesn't always mean that you're going to give someone a fat check for you to say that I've shared love, or for the next person to know that you've shared this love. There are people, even the richest of us, need some things from the people that you feel cannot even give them anything. Because my people say, it is in the poor man's house that you can find a grinding stone. So anytime the rich man is in need of a grinding stone,
he comes to the
poor man. So everybody needs something that another person can give.
Yeah.
And I always say a community that is full of rich men or only rich people is probably the poorest community, because everybody is a multimillionaire. So who will work for the other? So you find out that you are now poor. All of you are very poor.
Yeah.
So everybody needs the other person, the poor ones and the rich ones. At the end of the day, nobody is actually really poor.
Yeah, and I think even in this time of sharing love, you should also share love to yourself.
Yeah.
Be able to give yourself grace. You've come so far, which is great. You're doing amazing, and just take time out to relax. I mean, this is a season of sharing love, so share love to yourself. You can, watch something, watch a Christmas movie, go out with your loved ones. Just do something that will make you happy in the season.
Spend some time with yourself.
Yes.
Even if you're not going to a very, very expensive place, you could go and be at peace with nature. Sometimes you go to a waterfall, you go to a canopy walkway, you go to thank God Lagos has a lot of beaches. Some of them are free. Just go there and sit and just think about life when you're sitting there, right there, because you need to love yourself before you can give love to anybody else.
That's right. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I love to say that you definitely cannot pour from an empty cup. So you need to fill yourself up before you're able to pour into other people. And I'm Christian. So for people who are Christians, God loves you. So therefore, you should love yourself and then love others.
Even if you're a Muslim as well,
God loves you. I mean,
at the end of the day, we find out that this thing about God is just a matter of terminology. We all believe in a force greater than us. And whatever name you call it, no matter how you see it, it's like the story of an elephant, where blind people went to see an elephant or to feel an elephant because they can't see. Yeah. Some went to the trunk, some went to the tusk, some went to. So all of them were describing the elephant according to how they were able to feel it. They didn't have a complete picture. So that's how I think in Christianity, or in religion, we all try to describe God. At the end of the day, God is love. Whatever name you call it, it boils down to love. And if your religion has no love, then it's not a religion. Because even the traditional religion, African traditional religion, talks about love. So try to love one another, and this is the season to share love. Doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or not. Just share love. That's right.
Okay, in the spirit of Tuesday, we have Tech Tuesday, and we're just going to take our quote of the day and we'll just banter on it. Okay, that was our quote for the day. It's talking about technology. So we said
technology cannot replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers, it's awesome. It's transformational.
Exactly.
And I think it's a very, very important thing to note. There's a lot of fear that technology is going to take over. Our existence, and I hope that never gets to the point where we all will need to just be sitting home because we have something to send to the market. We have something to send we have a place that we can watch preaching online. We have everything. We just sit in our rooms and we don't get to do anything at all. I'm not sure it will lead to our life being better. I think it will lead to our lives being shorter. That's what I think.
Well, I think technology is great. I mean, there are a lot of things people have been able to accomplish with technology. And like the quote said, in the hands of the good people, it is transformational. Because we're talking about the advent of mobile phones. We're talking about the internet. All of these things are technology. Even if you look at it, computers are technology, cars are technology.
Everything.
So everything started even from all through the days of the scientists that we know, just the technologies, and this is where we are now. Now we're in the era of AI, right? However, there are people that are saying, your jobs are on the line at the moment because AI is coming to take over. Now you can just go on your phone and type something and AI brings out all the data that you need. But then you're learning as well because this is a wealth of resources that you can get. So I don't think it would end our jobs, like people like to say, or change things for the worse. I think it will be better. It will be transformational, just like the quote said.
The quote also has an underlying warning that if it is in the right hands, it will be transformational. So what we need to know is that no matter how good technology is, it should never be 100% alternative for human interaction and all that. For instance, you go to a family, they're having dinner, or they're having a time that should have been family time. Everybody's on their phone. Nobody cares what the next person is talking about. It wasn't like this before. There were times families could bond, you know. They could talk to each other, interact and all that.
Even the kids can go outside to play. Now everyone is playing on their phone or gaming.
Yeah, so a lot of some things that can be discouraged should be discouraged.
Yes.
You know, you do a little bit of what technology has given you the opportunity to be able to do easily, but do not forget the human factor, because that really is what makes us humans. And the more you grow old, the more you know that you need physical people more than the ones that you can find on the internet or that technology has given you.
Yeah, I think we should not seclude ourselves, because naturally we're social creatures.
Yes.
You need to be able to interact with other people. You see them physically. You know, technology cannot give you a hug.
No,
right? Do you understand? Even if you're seeing someone smile on, you know, the other side of the camera, it's still not the same like being there with them. So it's important that
it just reminded me, there is this app, I think, an app that was created by the Chinese that was teaching people how to smile, and another one how to kiss. So you're calling your friend or your wife, your husband or something, and you're kissing the phone, or you're learning how to smile.
That's weird.
It's
like
weird.
It's a natural
It's
thing to smile.
How would that be the same as when you're
The
doing
real,
natural thing?
yeah.
I see you smile. Smile. You see? I see you smile. There's something that, you know, you just exude when you smile physically.
Yeah.
It's not just when you
You
see
even
on
change
the phone.
the mood. You change the atmosphere, your aura. Because when someone is physically there with you, they can feel your presence, your energy, your aura. So it changes everything. And that way, when you interact physically, it's more wholesome. I think that's the word to use. It's more wholesome.
So we shouldn't, technology is very good. Everything, very, very good. But we shouldn't let technology take over humanity, as it were. Okay, right now, for instance, you want to write a book. You just need a topic. You type it in, AI will bring you everything, so you can write a book and all that. But we know that if you fail to use your brain dies. Just as every other thing, you know, it just gets paralyzed.
You're not tasking it.
You're not tasking it.
Yeah.
So you just have AI. So we might be forming, we might be giving birth to a generation of people who may not want to think.
Mentally lazy?
Yes, mentally lazy, that's the word to use and all that. So let's use technology, let's be the right people to handle technology, like the quote said.
So we can be transformational.
Yes.
I mean, with everything, there's pros and cons. And if you abuse something, it gets bad. So you must find that balance. So use technology, but use it for the greater good. Don't be lazy, and don't even use it to go and scam somebody or create bombs, or, you know, like, don't use it for the evil things. Use it for the good things. And
some of these things that are even good, I don't know how the psychological effect will be, and how how tomorrow will be because of the good things that we're seeing today. For instance, there is a natural bond between a mother and a child. The mother carries the child, the mother gives birth, and then the mother carries the child and feeds the child and all that. Now, you can just go donate something, put it in an incubator somewhere, and then the child comes out. And you don't have any problem. Or you go and give to someone else to hold for you. Yes, a surrogate mom to hold for you, and then you just go and collect your baby back and all that. I don't know how these people that are born this way, in 50 years to come, what kind of grandparents or parents they will be and all that. I'm old school.
You're quite traditional.
Some of the things that I think should be natural, that we are just using technology because it is possible to do all these things, I don't know how it will turn out to be. And it's worse in a place like Nigeria, where you find technology, the way we use technology, we discard everything else that we have ever known. We just discard it. For instance, now we have phones. You still have pay phones in America. You don't have it in Nigeria. You still have a lot of things that are still existing in America, but you don't have it in Nigeria. So we just leave those things behind. The traditional things are the worst hit. We leave them behind. The food we eat, we leave them behind. The things we do, the communion we have with our kins, we don't have that anymore. We just leave everything behind and move on. I don't know how
well, I think at the end of the day, just use it the right way and find that balance.
But who will define what the right way is?
Well, I think you should be able to. If you're abusing it, then you know it's bad.
How would you know? Well, sometimes you wouldn't even know.
Well, we'll find out. Anyways, let's move over to our top trending topics. So the first one says, federal government task MDAs on cost-cutting measures. The federal government has expressed concern over the country's dwindling revenue, and tax ministries, departments, and tax agencies, MDAs, and the federal and state government on cost-cutting measures in order to reduce the cost of governance in the country. The head of Efficiency Unit, Federal Ministry of Finance, Abuja, Mrs. Adebusola Ajiboye, spoke yesterday in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital, during a sensitization training exercise on activities of the unit organized by the Ministry for MDAs in the South-South Zone. Ajiboye, who highlighted some initiatives of the Efficiency Unit to include continuous awareness and sensitization, price checker initiative, less paper initiatives, stressed that the aim of the workshop was to equip the participant with the tools they need towards effective use of public funds. She appealed that the Efficiency Unit should be replicated in all the MDAs in the country because of the critical role the unit plays in prudent management of public resources. In her words, in quotes, the sensitization workshop provides us with an opportunity to explore the various initiatives, policies, and strategies employed by the Efficiency Unit to ensure the optimal utilization of the resources at every level of the government. She described it as a platform for engaging in meaningful dialogue, sharing experiences, and fostering collaborations across different sectors while aiming to equip all participants with the knowledge and tools that contribute to efficient and effective use of public resources. Speaking further, she explained that by promoting efficiency, reducing wastage, and improving value for money in government spending, the unit contributes significantly towards achieving the nation's development goals.
Yeah, well, it's a good advice, cut costs.
Yeah.
But, you know, they say the federal government is worried, the government is worried that the cost of governance is so much, and then they are doing the do as I say, not as I do kind of thing, and it's so bad. Like the previous government said, change begins with you. And if the political class cannot show us that they are here because of the people, it will be difficult, because the civil servants are the ones that do all the work that the politicians enjoy.
Yes.
And then they are going to work for 35 years and retire with a 1 month salary of a politician. And then you're still showing us that there's money to spend, and you're expecting us to do what you're asking us to do. Example has to come from the political class, and no matter how we see it, it rises and falls with leadership, and the leadership is given by the political class. They provide the leadership. The civil servants are civil servants. They serve us in all the capacities that they have.
Yeah.
But if the politicians do not do what they're supposed to do, nobody else will want to look at them at all.
Yeah, like you said, it's all about leadership, and it's what you tell these people, that's what they'll follow, because they follow your instructions. And so I think as a nation, I think one of our guests yesterday said something about Nigerians love to waste resources. So as a nation, obviously, she starts with...
You're avoiding the word he used.
Well, I can't use those words. But yes, he just, in general, he meant we waste resources. And I think we should all have like a check in words and say, why are we wasting so much? And you cannot waste public funds, because we're talking about the economy right now. Our economy is not so great, let's be honest. And if any way we can reduce costs, that's what should happen. Because if you were running a business, that's the same thing you would do. You won't, go and spend lavishly. You would say we need to make profits. And so that's what we should all do in Nigeria right now. And even the government, the political class, they should start with that.
I wish something that came up in the last administration could have continued. Body language. When the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, came into the saddle, everybody was afraid of his body language. Everybody was careful even spending money, let alone taking money that did not belong to them, until maybe they found out that he didn't know a lot of the things that he should have been holding them accountable for. And then they started, you know, doubling the kind of stealing they were stealing and all that under his nose. A man of integrity. I agree. He has some sort of integrity, but his awareness of his environment may not have been top notch. So they exploited that and did what they did. But that goes to say, if you show example by the kind of life that you live, for instance, if President Tinubu comes out and says, because of this cost of governance, I will not have the kind of convoy, for instance, that I have, or I will not have the fleet of airplanes that I have in the presidential fleet because we want to cut costs. We sell some of them and all that. Everybody will be looking like, okay, I should not be found wanting. Just by doing an action that you don't even need to tell the Senate or anything. And especially now that the Senate and the House of Reps, when you find them wearing hats, you know, they wear the eight symbol, you know, which is President Tinubu's symbol, you know, signature cap. Everybody wears it. So they are more or less his boys and girls. So if he shows an example, I'm sure a lot of them will just fall in line. Or guys doing this.
And no one will come and say, we want to renovate the house of this for so billion. We want to buy cars for this. Because you're already seeing that, I mean, the person who's at the helm of, you know, the affairs is already taking these measures. And you too, you will want to follow suit.
Anyway, the president went to the COP28 and he was telling them how the government is trying so much that we are going to buy 100 buses. And here is a story of a federal high court sitting in Sokoto. It has dismissed a suit filed by former governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawalle, over the ownership of vehicles he took away on leaving office in May 2023. In June, the police went to houses belonging to belonging to Matawalle to take possession of the vehicles as ordered by the court. A statement